So before we get started and while we wait for the others to join us, today what we're going to do is a mock, right? It's going to be exactly like ielts. So it's going to be timed. You'll have to answer in these answer sheets, right? You'll only listen one time. We'll do the first one, we'll correct it, then we'll do another one, right? So 2 of them, just so you get a chance to experience different question types. Okay? All right. Let us revise quickly what are some important things to remember in listening.
So in the first section, we'll have 2 people having conversation.
2 people in the first section. Good.
Yeah.
Second section.
And second, we'll have 3 people in
1.
It's 1.
In the second section is just 1 person. Third section will have 3 or more.
Yeah.
Yes. And fourth section?
There will be a lecture or something, yeah?
How many speakers?
1 person.
1 person. Good. Yeah. All right. Great. First 2 topics.
What's the topics?
General topics, yes.
Okay.
So it's like about everyday life.
Okay.
Second 2 topics? What's the opposite of general? Academic. Yeah,
Okay.
there will be 2 academic topics.
No, remember.
All right, yeah, good. Now, what are the important tricks that we should remember for listening?
I think keywords.
Keywords,
Yeah.
good, yeah. Keywords, it's always important. Keywords is important throughout IELTS. Even in reading and writing, you will encounter these keywords, right? So try to find the keywords and highlighting them.
Reading questions.
Good. Reading questions. What should we focus on when reading the questions?
When reading the question, there is when there is a speaker and she's speaking or he's speaking and telling you how to do it and how much time do you have. So in the meanwhile, you will start
Good.
reading the question.
Yes. So read the questions whenever you can.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a time, read the questions. Now, there is also a trick. You know how like at the end they give you like those 30 seconds to check your answers?
Yeah.
You can use them to check your answers, or
The one which is missed, you can go back there as well.
yeah, you can go back.
Oh,
But generally speaking in IELTS, if you miss a question, it's too late because you can't hear the audio again.
True.
Yes.
Well,
But when checking the questions, how can we check questions in IELTS?
if I'm not wrong, you're telling like just to predict is it noun or adjective or something like that.
That's before you answer. Now, after you answered all 10 questions of the section.
Okay.
They will give you 30 seconds at the end to check.
That is like to move the questions from answer sheet.
You can do that.
Okay.
That's okay. It's your time. You can use it however you want. So those 30 seconds, they will give you like to check if your answers are correct or wrong. Now, when it comes to listening, that is usually difficult. Why? Because you cannot hear the audio again, so you cannot confirm. So some things that you can check is number 1, the number of words.
Okay, yes.
Yes, you can check the number of words. Like imagine if the question says only 1 word and your answer has 2, that's not correct. Okay?
Even when S is extra or less is gone?
Yes, you can check the plurals as well.
Plurals.
Read the sentence.
Yeah.
Always go back and read the sentences. Read your sentences and see if they make sense.
Yeah.
If the grammar makes sense and if the meaning makes sense. Okay? If one of them is off, maybe your answer is incorrect. Especially when it comes to noun, the plurals. Right?
Plurals, yes.
So if you find, for example, an A before it, it's usually singular.
Okay.
A table, not a tables. Right? So check the plural, check the singular. These 2 are things that you can check. Generally speaking, that's the only thing that you can check in listening. Number of words, the plurals and singulars, and see if they are correct grammatically and if they are correct in the meaning. Okay? All right, good. Now, if you are certain and you don't want to check your answers, what can you do in those 30 seconds?
I think you can read the next.
Read the next questions. Good. Don't waste it.
Yeah.
Those 30 seconds are yours. Do not waste them. Go ahead and read the upcoming questions.
Yeah.
Okay? Especially in the paper exam, you can do that easily. Just flip the page, do it. Flip the computer exam, just scroll.
Yeah.
That's all. Got it? Okay, great. Hello, Shubhashish. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, Alhamdulillah.
Good, alhamdulillah. All right. Now, other than that, what else can we do in listening? So we said we check the number of words, we read the questions carefully, right? We try to highlight the keywords. Good. And we try to predict. Those are the three things that you really need in listening. All right. Good. So for today, I'm going to give you these. So remember, in the paper exam, they will give you extra 10 minutes. Okay. So the exam is 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they will give you an extra 10 minutes, so 30 minutes. The 10 minutes are for you to copy your answers. Okay? So don't worry too much about this until after all the audios have finished. You can just keep your answers in the draft, or you can write them here.
Okay, I can write my answers here, and then I can shift those answers.
Then you can shift those answers here. Okay? 10 minutes is a long time.
Yes.
It's more than enough to write 40 answers.
Yes.
Okay? So this is why my recommendation is for those 30 seconds that they give you to check, don't check. Read the next question.
Yeah.
Then in those 10 minutes, you can check everything and write it.
No.
Go question by question. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Good. For the computer-based, you will not have those 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, the computer-based, because you just click or type directly, so you don't need to transfer them. All right? Now, even in the computer-based, they will give you a draft paper.
Okay.
So you can order it. Like, even if they don't give you, you can just request it. Please, I want a paper just to take notes. It's up to you.
Okay.
In listening, that's not very useful because you have to answer at the same time.
Okay.
But in reading and writing, even if you are taking computer, it is useful. Like the draft paper, especially for people who like to write. Yeah?
I have a question.
Yes.
In writing the answer, it doesn't matter if it is all caps lock or all.
It does matter.
It does.
Yes. Because now, let's say, let me. For example, if I want to write Philippines is a country in Asia. Right? I can write it like this. This is not correct. What is the correct answer?
Capital P.
Capital P.
Yeah.
Capital A.
Yeah.
So if you write everything in capital, got it? So it is important, especially in writing. Which is why, again, paper exam is a little bit more annoying, because I know a lot of people who write in capitals, everything in capitals.
Writing is more stressful.
Yes.
In writing.
Yeah.
Why in computer it's automatic that when you start the first letter,
There is no autocorrect. They disable it.
Yeah.
On the computer based, they disable it. Okay? So do not rely on that. Right? Now, I did send you this before, right? This website here. I sent it to you or no? Maybe it was before you joined the WhatsApp.
Yeah, you send it.
This one.
Yeah, you send it to us.
Yeah, this one you can go and check the different tools in the computer. Like how is the computer based, how it's going to be. You can just check the different tools, how to use them, get used to them beforehand. It's very useful because every question has a different mechanic. Sometimes you have to drag. For matching, you click and drag. For choosing the correct answer, you just click, right? For filling the gap, you have to type. So there are different mechanics. And you will also get used to, and this is not in listening, this is in reading.
Yeah.
In reading, they will present you the text on the left and the questions on the right.
Okay.
So that is useful. Why? Because you can scroll them independently.
Yeah.
So, for example, in paper, you might have to, you might have to do this and this. On the computer, no, you just scroll.
So you will have two scroll bars.
Two scroll bars. Yes. It's a very useful tool.
Yeah.
Two scroll bars, one for the text, one for the questions. So it makes reading very easy between them. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, Shubhashish, I'm going to send you the answer sheet. You said you have a printer there, right?
Yeah, I'll print it over.
Okay, let me just send it to you. So these are the two tests that we're going to do, along with the answer sheet. The test you can follow on the computer, it's fine. But the answer sheet, try to print it. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me know when you're ready so we can start. You still haven't decided if you're taking computer or...
Honestly, I have not even started practicing computers. Once I start, like I'll spend some time on it, and then I'll get the result. Like,
Yeah.
I continue with this because I've given one time, I'd say 2010
Paper. Yeah.
and it was not a good experience. I got 5.
Yeah, even like paper has a lot of things to consider because if you have bad handwriting, that's something to consider.
And I have a joint writing. That's a bigger problem.
It is, yeah. Like if you're writing cursive, that is difficult to read.
Yes. Yeah. I was not that good at that time, but I was like, I just finished my studies and I just wanted to go to abroad and I just gave a test, like and without preparation even.
Yeah. 5 without preparation is really good.
I have not studied a single day.
Yeah.
I went there and I just gave a test randomly. 5.5 in speaking and in the rest of the 3 models, 5. So I got the result 5 and I got demotivated. this
5.5 is good.
Yeah.
You're above average because the average is 4.5. It's out of 9.
Yeah, at that time I was applying for the student visa.
Students usually request
6.
Yeah, 6.
They didn't 6.
Students they usually start from 6. Okay.
Let's see.
I have faith. This time we can get 6. Easy. So, Shubhashish, are you ready?
Yeah, just 2 minutes.
Okay. Then let's check this because I wanted to show you.
Please, you can, sir.
Hmm?
Yeah, please start.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to show you this. It's really good if you're considering the computer test. Go test it.
Okay.
The tools are important. Let me just... Okay, it's not good. See, so this is reading. You will have the text here and the questions here. And you will have 2 separate scroll bars. This one is a short test and only 1 question, so there are no scroll bars.
Okay.
But you will have 2 scroll bars.
One in the middle, one on the right.
One here, one here.
Okay.
Yes. So you can scroll the questions independently and the text independently.
Okay.
And do you remember how to highlight?
Yeah.
On the computer?
There is a button you have to click right.
So you just do this, select, click right, highlight.
Select, highlight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can also take notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the notes will be shown there above the word if I write something?
Here.
Okay.
You write it down here. Right?
Okay. In listening, I can do this highlight.
You can do this, but you can do the highlighting in listening, yes. You can do the highlighting in listening.
Okay.
It's easy. You can do it in all of them. But in listening, it's not recommended that you take notes because it will just distract you.
Okay.
All right. So, Shubhashish, we will start with...
Yeah, I already printed.
We will start with this one. This test. Okay? No, sorry, not that one. I mean this one. So open that test. And here you go, guys.
It's exactly the same. We will have 20 minutes and we will finish this and then you will give us 10 more minutes to, is it 30 minutes?
We will do 20 minutes for the test, 10 minutes for the, it's going to be exactly the same. Then we will correct the first one, and we'll do the second one, same exact thing. Why are you worried?
No, but where's the questionnaire?
I still didn't give them to you.
Okay. So you're thinking about the answer.
All right, Shubhashish, do you have your test ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. There you go, guys. Let me just share my screen with him.
We can use the pencil here.
That's a draft. Use whatever you want. Okay.
Test 4. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Part 1. Part 1. You will hear a man who works at an employment agency phoning a woman who is looking for a job. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Is that Julie Davison?
Yes.
This is Greg Preston from the employment agency. We met last week when you came in to inquire about office work.
Oh, that's right.
Now, we've just had some details come in of a job which might interest you.
Okay.
So this is a position for a receptionist. I believe you've done that sort of work before?
Yes, I have. I worked in a sports centre for a couple of years before I got married and had the children.
Right. Well, this job's in Fordham, so not too far away for you, and it's at the medical centre there.
Okay. So where exactly is that?
It's quite near the station on Chastens Road.
Sorry?
Chastens Road. That's CHASTONS.
Okay, thanks. So what would the work involve? Dealing with inquiries from patients?
Yes, and you'd also be involved in making appointments, whether face-to-face or on the phone, and rescheduling them if necessary.
Fine, that shouldn't be a problem.
And another of your duties would be keeping the centre's database up to date. Then you might have other general administrative duties as well, but those would be the main ones.
Okay.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Now, when the details came in, I immediately thought of you because one thing they do require is someone with experience. And you did mention your work at the sports centre when you came in to see us.
Yes, in fact, I enjoyed that job. Is there anything else they're looking for?
Well, they say it's quite a high-pressure environment. They're always very busy, and patients are often under stress. So they want someone who can cope with that and stay calm, and at the same time be confident when interacting with the public.
Well, after dealing with 3 children all under 5, I reckon I can cope with that.
I'm sure you can. And then another thing they mention is that they're looking for someone with good IT skills.
Not a problem.
So you'd be interested in following this up?
Sure. When would it start?
Well, they're looking for someone from the beginning of next month. But I should tell you that this isn't a permanent job. It's temporary, so the contract would be just to the end of September. But they do say that there could be further opportunities after that.
OK. And what would the hours be?
Well, they want someone who can start at 7:45 in the morning. Could you manage that?
Yes, my husband would have to get the kids up and off to my mother's. She's going to be looking after them while I'm at work. What time would I finish?
1:15.
That should work out all right. I can pick the kids up on my way home, and then I'll have the afternoon with them. Oh, one thing. Is there parking available for staff at the centre?
Yes, there is. And it's also on a bus route.
Right. Well, I expect I'll have the car, but it's good to know that. OK, so where do I go from here?
Well, if you are happy for me to do so, I'll forward your CV and references, and then the best thing would probably be for you to phone them so they can arrange for an interview.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye now.
Bye.
That is the end of part 1. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to part 1. Part 2. You will hear a guide at a farming museum talking to a group of visitors. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Museum of Farming Life. I understand it's your first visit here, so I'd like to give you some background information about the museum and then explain a little about what you can see during your visit. So, where we're standing at the moment is the entrance to a large building that was constructed in 1880 as the home of a local businessman, Alfred Palmer, of the Palmer Biscuit Factory. It was later sold and became a hall of residence for students in 1911 and a museum in 1951. In 2005, a modern extension was built to accommodate the museum's collections. The museum's owned by the university, and apart from 2 rooms that are our offices, the university uses the main part of the building. You may see students going into the building for lessons, but it's not open to museum visitors, I'm afraid. It's a shame because the interior architectural features are outstanding, especially the room that used to be the library. Luckily, we've managed to keep entry to the museum free. This includes access to all the galleries, outdoor areas, and the rooms for special exhibitions. We run activities for children and students, such as the Museum Club, for which there's no charge. We do have a donation box just over there, so feel free to give whatever amount you consider appropriate. We do have a cloakroom if you'd like to leave your coats and bags somewhere. Unlike other museums, photography is allowed here, so you might like to keep your cameras with you. You might be more comfortable not carrying around heavy rucksacks, though keep your coats and jackets on as it's quite cold in the museum garden today.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
I'd like to tell you about the different areas of the museum. Just inside and outside the main gallery, we have an area called 4 Seasons. Here, you can watch a 4-minute animation of a woodland scene. It was designed especially for the museum by a group of young people on a film studies course, and it's beautiful. Children absolutely love it, but then so do adults. The main gallery is called Town and Country. It includes a photographic collection of prize-winning sheep and shepherds. Leaving Town and Country, you enter Farmhouse Kitchen, which is, well, self-explanatory. Here, we have the oldest collection of equipment for making butter and cheese in the country. And this morning, a specialist cheesemaker will be giving demonstrations of how it's produced. You may even get to try some. After that, you can go in 2 directions. To the right is a staircase that takes you up to a landing from where you can look down on the galleries. To the left is a room called A Year on the Farm. There is lots of seating here, as sometimes we use the room for school visits, so it's a good place to stop for a rest. If you're feeling competitive, you can take our memory test, in which you answer questions about things you've seen in the museum. The next area is called Wagon Walk. This contains farm carts from nearly every part of the country. It's surprising how much regional variation there was. Beside the carts are display boards with information about each one. The carts are old and fragile, so we ask you to keep your children close to you and ensure they don't climb on the carts. From Wagon Walk, you can either make your way back to reception or go out into the garden, or even go back to take another look in the galleries. In the far corner of the garden is Bees Are Magic, but we're redeveloping this area, so you can't visit that at the moment. You can still buy our honey in the shop, though. Finally, there's the pond, which contains all kinds of interesting wildlife. There are baby ducks that are only a few days old, as well as tiny frogs. The pond isn't deep, and there is a fence around it, so it's perfectly safe for children.
That is the end of Part 2. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to Part 2. Part 3. Following instructions from their tutor, you will hear 2 trainee teachers discussing the use of origami, a paper folding activity, in the classroom. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 27. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 27.
So now I want you to discuss the lesson we've just been watching on the video and think about the ways in which origami can be a useful educational tool. Can you all work with the person sitting next to you?
I had no idea that such a simple thing like folding squares of paper to make the shape of something like a bird could be such an amazing tool. It's made me see origami in a whole new light.
I know. It was interesting to see the educational skills the children were developing by doing origami. On the video, you could see them really listening hard to make sure they did all the steps in the right order to make the bird.
That's right. In this lesson, they were working individually, but it would also be interesting to see if the children could work out how to make something simple without being given any direction. That would help with building teamwork as well.
Yes, but much more of a challenge. One thing that really stood out for me was that the children were all having fun while being taught something new.
Which is a key aim of any lesson with this age group. And although these kids had no problems with folding the paper, with younger children you could do origami to help practice fine motor skills.
Absolutely. Shall we talk about the individual children we saw on the video? I wrote all their names down and took some notes.
Yes, I did too.
Okay, good. Let's start with Sid.
He was interesting because before they started doing the origami, he was being quite disruptive.
Yes, he really benefited from having to use his hands. It helped him to settle down and start concentrating.
Yes, I noticed that too. What about Jack? I noticed he seemed to want to work things out for himself.
You could see him trying out different things rather than asking the teacher for help. What did you make of Naomi?
She seemed to be losing interest at one point, but then she decided she wanted her mouse to be the best, and that motivated her to try harder.
She didn't seem satisfied with hers in the end, though.
No.
Anya was such a star. She listened so carefully and then produced the perfect bird with very little effort.
I think the teacher could have increased the level of difficulty for her.
Maybe. I think it was the first time Zara had come across origami.
She looked as if she didn't really get what was going on.
She seemed unsure about what she was supposed to do, but in the end, hers didn't turn out too badly.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a positive learning experience for her.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 28 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 28 to 30.
I think one reason why the origami activity worked so well in this class was that the teacher was well prepared.
Right. I think it would have taken me ages to prepare examples showing each of the steps involved in making the bird, but that was a really good idea. The children could see what they were aiming for, and much better for them to be able to hold something rather than just looking at pictures.
Those physical examples supported her verbal explanations really well.
It's strange that origami isn't used more widely. Why do you think that is?
Well, teachers may just feel it's not that appealing to children who are used to doing everything on computers, especially boys, even if they're aware of the benefits.
Oh, I don't know. It's no different to any other craft activity. I bet it's because so many teachers are clumsy like me.
That's true. Too much effort required if you're not good with your hands.
Well, anyway, I think we should try it out in our maths teaching practice with Year 3. I can see using origami is a really engaging way of reinforcing children's knowledge of geometric shapes, like they were doing in the video. But I think it would also work really well for presenting fractions, which is coming up soon.
Good idea. That's something most of the kids in that class might struggle with. Origami would also be good practice for using symmetry, but I think they did that last term.
OK, well, let's try and get some ideas together and plan the lesson next week.
OK, if you could also...
That is the end of part 3. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to part 3. Part 4. You will hear a literature student giving a talk about Victor Hugo, a famous 19th century French writer. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
The person I've chosen to talk about is the French writer Victor Hugo. Many people have heard of him because his novel, Les Miserables, which he wrote in 1862, is famous around the world. It became a stage musical in the 1980s, and a film version was also released in 2012. So some of us, I'm sure, have a pretty general idea of the plot, but we know much less about the author. Today, I'm going to provide a little more insight into this talented man, and I'm going to talk particularly about the home he had on the island of Guernsey in the British Channel Islands. But first, his early career. As I've said, he was a writer. He was at the height of his career in Paris, and he was very highly regarded by his colleagues. As far as literature was concerned, he was the leading figure of the Romantic movement. However, as well as being a literary genius, he also gave many speeches about issues like the level of poverty in his society. He felt very strongly about this, and about other areas where change was needed, like education. This kind of outspoken criticism was not well liked by the rulers of France, and eventually the Emperor, Napoleon III, told Victor Hugo to leave Paris and not return. In other words, he sent him into exile. So, Victor Hugo was forced to reside in other parts of Europe. Guernsey was actually his third place of exile, and he landed there in 1855. He produced a lot while on Guernsey, including Les Miserables, and to do this, he had to spend a great deal of time in the home that he had there. This was a property that he bought using the money he'd made in France from the publication of a collection of his poetry. It was the only property he ever owned, and he was very proud of it. The property Victor Hugo bought on Guernsey was a large 5-storey house in the capital town of St. Peter Port, and he lived there for 15 years, returning to France in 1870 when Napoleon's empire collapsed. He decorated and furnished each level or floor of the house in unique and wonderful ways, and many people consider the inside of the house to be a work of art. Today, it's a museum that attracts 200,000 visitors a year. He lived in the house with his family, and portraits of its members still hang in rooms on the ground floor, along with drawings that he did during his travels that he felt were important to him. In other ground floor rooms, there are huge tapestries that he would have designed and loved. The walls are covered in dark wood panelling that Victor Hugo created himself using wooden furniture that he bought in the market. The items were relatively inexpensive, and he used them to create intricate carvings. They gave an atmosphere on the lower level that was shadowy and rather solemn. On the next level of the house, there are 2 impressive lounges where he entertained his guests. One lounge has entirely red furnishings, such as sofas and wall coverings, and the other blue. There's a strong Chinese influence in these areas in things like the wallpaper pattern and the lamps, which he would have made himself by copying original versions. His library, where he left many of his favourite books, forms the hallway to the 3rd floor and was a comfortable area where he could relax and enjoy his afternoons. And then, at the very top of the house, there's a room called the Lookout. Called that because it looks out over the harbour. In contrast to the rather dark lower levels, it's full of light and was like a glass office where he would write until lunchtime, often at his desk. So, Victor Hugo was a man of many talents, but he was also true to his values. While living in his house on Guernsey, he entertained many other famous writers, but he also invited a large group of local children from the deprived areas of the island to dinner once a week. What's more, he served them their food, which was an extraordinary gesture for the time period. In 1927, the house was owned by his relatives, and they decided to donate it to the city of Paris. It has since been restored using photographs from the period, and, as I mentioned earlier, is now a museum that is open to the public.
That is the end of part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to part 4. That is the end of the listening test. In the IELTS test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answer sheet.
Shubhashish, have you finished?
Yeah, I already finished.
All right, good.
But
So
23 to 27, I was so confused.
23 to 27, what?
Yeah, I missed the lines.
Okay, so let's check the answers.
Yeah.
You left some answers empty.
Yeah.
Why?
One answer empty actually, the other one I thought I had the same word in my mind and I wrote it. I just figured out like the listening which I have been practicing, this was quite different than that. This was there were so many synonyms being used in this speaking, and it's quite difficult to catch in the middle way. And the part of the speaking is like when you are waiting for the answers, and suddenly you feel that answer is gone into the synonym.
Yeah, they use synonyms a lot.
It's not easy to catch the same word again, and the next answer is gone if you go back. This was happening to me this time.
Yeah, I told you synonyms are to be expected in the IELTS listening.
I mean, I'm practicing like many listenings. This is the hardest one.
Usually the ones that you find online, a lot of the ones that you find online are not made by the British Council. They're made by others just to replicate. So they're not the same level of difficulty.
Yeah.
These ones are previous IELTS tests.
Okay.
Got it? Yeah, so they're previous ones that they're not going to use anymore. So we use for practice. Got it?
Yeah.
Now, even if, did you leave an answer empty too?
No.
Okay, good.
Goodness.
Good. Yeah, see? Even if you don't know the answer, put your best guess.
I do same thing.
Put your best guess.
This is what I did exactly.
Oh, but I see an empty one there.
You want one only, yeah.
Don't leave it.
Don't leave.
Guess.
Yeah.
Why?
Adjective, something or grammatically.
Anything that works there.
This is
if you think a word fits there, put it. Okay? Yeah, good. And because you don't know, you could be correct.
True.
If you leave it empty, it's a guaranteed zero.
Yeah.
If you leave an answer, could be a zero, could be one.
Yeah.
Right?
Chance, take a chance.
Yeah. Okay, let's check. So let's start with the first question. Number one, receptionist, not a receptionist.
I was confused there because when you were telling me in the beginning, like singular could be a word, like it could be a receptionist. So then he mentioned a receptionist.
Yes, but what was the word count?
Yeah, it's
one word, and A is considered its own word.
Yes.
So it is a receptionist.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Number two, medical.
Yeah.
Chastens.
Yes.
Appointments.
Yes.
Spell it like this.
Yes. CHASTONS.
Good. Yeah. I told you with difficult names, they will always spell them. So wait for the spelling. Don't start writing on your own. Okay. 5, database.
Yes.
Good. 6, experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
no, I wrote good.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
sir, if I miss the last S for the appointment.
Okay. I had it in my hand, my mind confident, but that's like confident.
Yeah, sorry.
Not making sense. That's why I left it.
It's not manners, it's manner. Manners is like the way you behave. Manner. Yeah. What did you say, Shubhashish?
In question number 4, I missed the last S. That will be correct. They will mark.
Number 3?
Appointments.
Number 4.
4, appointments.
Yeah, I missed the S. So
it wouldn't be counted as correct.
But what if you close open S? Is that counted?
What do you mean close openness?
Appointment and then you put open close S. Like this.
Like between brackets?
Yeah.
That are you trying to cheat? Okay. Experience confident temporary.
Yes.
Yes. 115.
Yes.
This one.
It should be a one dot. It should be a one dot or like a.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
As long as you write the time. Write it with 1 dot, 2 dots. It's up to you. Okay, 1:15 for the time. Parking.
Yes.
Good. Why are you upset?
No, I heard quarter. I didn't hear that 1.15.
They said, yeah, they said 1/4 or what quarter past one or something, but you cannot write that in words because you only have one number.
And then there's okay. No, I got confused. I thought this is 9:30. This is number of the
Okay.
Alright. I get confused.
Good. Now let's go to the next one. So check your answers here. 11B,
Wrong.
Wrong.
12A,
Yeah. Correct.
13A,
Correct.
14C,
Wrong.
15F,
Correct.
16G,
Correct.
17E, 18A,
Yeah.
19C, 20B. Okay. Now, 22 and 21. So usually when they tell you to choose 2 options or 3 options, it doesn't matter which order do you put them in. Okay, you can put them in any order you want in the answer sheet, and it will be fine. So for 21 and 22, it's B and D.
Okay. Both are correct.
Yes, and even if you get just one, it would still be considered a correct answer.
Okay.
So here, 21 and 22, it's 2 questions.
Yes.
Yeah. 23D,
Yeah.
24A, C, G, F,
Yes.
A, B, C.
Okay.
Everyone has sad faces in part 3.
Yeah.
It was hard.
It's the worst result I will get.
Okay. Part 4, we have plot.
31?
31. Plot.
Yeah, I missed it.
That's the one you missed.
Yes.
Okay. Plot.
Okay.
Poverty.
The 2 was poverty.
Poverty.
It was about the right poverty, then I wrote society.
Doubting yourself is usually a bad thing.
Because it just gone out of my mind.
Yeah, don't overthink things. If you hear it, you think it's the correct answer, just write it down.
Okay.
If you have a doubt in the draft, write 2 words and then see which one makes more sense.
Okay.
Okay? 33, Euro.
Yes.
Poetry.
Okay, I wrote books. Okay. Because I missed it, then I just imagined that would be books because
Yeah, close book. Yeah, close guess. Drawings.
Vanishes.
Furniture, it's 36.
Yeah, I wrote it in 35.
Ah, okay. So 36 is furniture.
Yeah.
Lamps.
Correct.
38, harbor. And you notice here that they have 2 different spellings, like both the British and the American ones.
Yes.
Both are fine. 39, children.
Yes.
40, relatives.
You said.
Do you count?
I got 20.
20.
Which
20.
I was expecting maybe 10 or 15 I will get it right. But
Okay. 20?
it's 5.5 maybe, yeah?
Around that.
32.
32.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Last time she answered 0 in part 4. Okay, good job. Yeah, Shubhashish?
9 I got.
29?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 20, 5.5, 29, 6.5, and 32 is a 7.5. Good.
I hope the exam like this.
The exam will be exactly like this. The only thing that will change are the topics. Only the topics. Maybe you'll get some different question types because they have like 11 question types. You can't get all of them. So they will just choose. Right? But it would be exactly like this. All right? Now, what was difficult about this?
The same, like when she was speaking.
The synonyms.
The synonyms, yes.
Okay. But now you know about it.
Yeah.
So you should be ready next time. Okay? Good. Shubhashish, what was Shubha? Yeah,
Suba. Yeah, Suba.
Shubha, yeah. Shubha, what was difficult about this?
It's, the accent is little bit difficult for me.
The accent.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Now, in IELTS, IELTS is one of those tests that you cannot predict the accent. Sometimes it would be British, sometimes American, sometimes Australian, Canadian, like from New Zealand. They will have different accents, but usually only the accents of the English-speaking countries. Okay, so American, Canadian, Canadian, Australian, British, New Zealand, only these five. You'll get a mix of all of them. Okay? Yeah. But other than that, not really. So you have to get used to those accents.
I felt like in the third and fourth part, I got lost when she was speaking. That's why I made more mistakes. She was speaking very fast, and I was focusing on a few answers and I got lost. She moved to the next answer. I told you to always try to keep attention to where you are. This is why in part 3 and 4 they give you more things to follow. So if you notice here in part this is part 4. I feel that 10 answers here in 10 answers it went through my head. I didn't pick it. Look, so they give you this, they give you this. You have one here, for example, this one, right? Mm-hmm. So they give you a lot of stops to check where you are in the audio. Okay? Mm-hmm. And this is why reading in advance is good. It's helpful. You will remember these stops and you will remember these big titles as well. So when a change happens, you know exactly where to go.
Sometimes there was one part he mentioned first the place before he mentioned the sale. Mm-hmm. Mention first the location before.
Yeah, sometimes they do it for example, from active voice to passive voice. Mm-hmm. They do that sometimes. Listen to the whole sentence. Okay, but overall, good job. That wasn't bad. Let's try another one. This time it will be a quick one. So I will not give you that 10 minutes to write your answers. We'll just take the answers from here.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Suba, can you go to the other text, the next one?
Okay.
Okay. Now, same deal, just try to focus on this time. You had a problem with the synonyms.
Yeah.
Keep it in mind. There will be a lot of synonyms. So that one, and try to always follow where you are. That's it. Even if you lose a question, I told you, it's better to lose a question than lose 5 or 6 because you got lost.
Yes.
Question. When you see like this, what does it mean? It giving you
It's just a brief explanation of the context.
It means it will not be mentioned during the conversation.
It's for you to help you understand it. They gave, if you noticed in the previous test as well, where was it? Here, this one. There was one, right, between brackets. Here.
This one.
Yes. So they put essential because they have nothing else here. So essential, and they said we have a lot of requirements. Requirements is essential. All right, let's listen.
Test 2. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to part 1. Part 1. You will hear a man asking about voluntary work in the village that he has just moved to. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 7. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 7.
Hello, Jane Fairbanks speaking.
Oh, good morning. My name's Frank Pritchard. I've just retired and moved to Southo. I'd like to become a volunteer, and I gather you coordinate voluntary work in the village?
That's right.
What sort of thing could I do?
Well, we need help with the village library. We borrow books from the town library, and individuals also donate them. So one thing you could do is get involved in collecting them, if you've got a car, that is.
Yes, that's no problem.
The times are pretty flexible, so we can arrange it to suit you. Oh, another thing is the records that we keep of the books we're given, and those we borrow and need to return to the town library. It would be very useful to have another person to help keep them up to date.
Right. I'm used to working on a computer. I presume they're computerized?
Oh, yes.
Is the library purpose-built? I haven't noticed it when I've walked around the village.
No, we simply have the use of a room in the village hall. The West Room. It's on the left as you go in.
Oh, I must go and have a look inside the hall.
Yes, it's a nice building.
Do you run a lunch club in the village for elderly people? I know a lot of places do.
Yes, we have a very successful club.
I could help with transport, if that's of any use.
Oh, definitely. People come to the club from neighbouring villages, and we're always in need of more drivers.
And does the club have groups that focus on a particular hobby too? I could get involved in one or two, particularly if there are any art groups.
Excellent. I'll find out where we need help and get back to you.
Fine. What about help for individual residents? Do you arrange that at all?
Yes, we do it as a one-off. Oh, in fact, there's Mrs. Carroll. She needs a lift to the hospital next week, and we're struggling to find someone.
When's her appointment?
On Tuesday. It would take the whole morning.
I could do that?
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. And also next week, we're arranging to have some work done to Mr. Salisbury's house before he moves, as he isn't healthy enough to do it himself. We've got some people to decorate his kitchen, but if you could do some weeding in his garden, that would be wonderful.
OK, I'd enjoy that. And presumably the day and time are flexible?
Oh, yes. Just say when would suit you best, and we'll let Mr. Salisbury know.
Good.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 8 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 8 to 10.
The volunteers group also organises monthly social events, which is a great way to meet other people, of course.
Uh-huh.
So next month, on the 19th of October, we're holding a quiz. A couple of residents are great at planning unusual ones, and we always fill the village hall.
That sounds like fun. Can I do anything to help?
Well, because of the number of people, we need plenty of refreshments for halfway through. So if you could provide any, we'd be grateful.
I'm sure I could. I'll think about what to make and let you know.
Thank you. Then on November the 18th, we're holding a dance, also in the village hall. We've booked a band that specialises in music of the 1930s. They've been before, and we've had a lot of requests to bring them back.
I'm not really a dancer, but I'd like to do something to help.
Well, we sell tickets in advance, and having an extra person to check them at the door as people arrive would be good. It can be quite a bottleneck if everyone arrives at once.
OK, I'm happy with that.
We're also arranging a New Year's Eve party. We're expecting that to be a really big event. So instead of the village hall, it'll be held in the Mountfort Hotel.
The...
Mountfort. Mountfort Hotel. It isn't in Southo itself, but it's only a couple of miles away. The hotel will be providing dinner, and we've booked a band. The one thing we haven't got yet is a poster. That isn't something you could do by any chance, is it?
Well, actually, yes. Before I retired, I was a graphic designer, so that's right up my street.
Oh, perfect. I'll give you the details, and then perhaps you could send me a draft?
Of course.
That is the end of part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 1. Part 2. You will hear a guide at a tourist attraction called Oniton Hall talking to a group of visitors. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning, and welcome to Oniton Hall, one of the largest estates in the area. My name's Nick, and I'm one of the guides. I'll give you a brief introduction to the estate while you're sitting down, and then we'll walk round. The estate consists of the house, gardens, parkland and farm, and it dates back to the 14th century. The original house was replaced in the late 17th century, and of course it has had a large number of owners. Almost all of them have left their mark, generally by adding new rooms, like the ballroom and conservatory, or by demolishing others. The farm looks much as it's always done, although the current owner has done a great deal of work to the flower beds. In the 17th century, the estate was owned by a very wealthy man called Sir Edward Downes. His intention was to escape from the world of politics after years as an active politician, and to build a new house worthy of his big collection of books, paintings and sculptures. He broke off contact with his former political allies and hosted meetings of creative and literary people, like painters and poets. Unusually for his time, he didn't care whether his guests were rich or poor, as long as they had talent. Big houses like Oniton had dozens of servants until the 1920s or 30s, and we've tried to show what their working lives were like. Photographs, of course, don't give much of an idea, so instead, as you go round the house, you'll see volunteers dressed up as 19th century servants going about their work. They'll explain what they're doing and tell you their recipes or what tools they're using. We've just introduced this feature to replace the audio guide we used to have available. I see there are a number of children here with you today. Well, we have several activities specially for children, like dressing up in the sorts of clothes that children wore in the past, And as it's a fine day, some of you will probably want to play in the adventure playground. Our latest addition is child-sized tractors that you can drive around the grounds.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
We'll also be going into the farm that's part of the estate, where there's plenty to do. Most of the buildings date from the 18th century, so you can really step back into an agricultural past. Until recently, the dairy was where milk from the cows was turned into cheese. It's now the place to go for lunch, or afternoon tea, or just a cup of coffee and a slice of homemade cake. The big stone building that dominates the farm is the large barn, and in here is our collection of agricultural tools. These were used in the past to plough the earth, sow seeds, make gates, and much more. There's a small barn, also made of stone, where you can groom the donkeys and horses to keep their coats clean. They really seem to enjoy having it done, and children love grooming them. The horses no longer live in the stables, which instead is the place to go to buy gifts, books, our own jams and pickles, and clothes and blankets made of wool from our sheep. Outside the shed, which is the only brick building, you can climb into a horse-drawn carriage for a lovely, relaxing tour of the park and farm. The carriages are well over 100 years old. And finally, the parkland, which was laid out in the 18th century with a lake and trees that are now well established. You'll see types of cattle and sheep that are hardly ever found on farms these days. We're helping to preserve them, to stop their numbers falling further. OK, well, if you'd like to come with me, we will start.
That is the end of part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 2. Part 3. You will hear 2 theatre studies students discussing stage and screen performances of Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 and 22. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 and 22.
Did you make notes while you were watching the performances of Romeo and Juliet, Gemma?
Yes, I did. I found it quite hard, though. I kept getting too involved in the play.
Me too. I ended up not taking notes. I wrote down my impressions when I got home. Do you mind if I check a few things with you, in case I've missed anything? And I've also got some questions about our assignment.
No, it's good to talk things through. I may have missed things too.
OK, great. So, first of all, I'm not sure how much information we should include in our reviews.
Right. Well, I don't think we need to describe what happens, especially as Romeo and Juliet is one of Shakespeare's most well-known plays.
Yeah, everyone knows the story. In an essay, we'd focus on the poetry and Shakespeare's use of imagery, etc. But that isn't really relevant in a review. We're supposed to focus on how effective this particular production is.
We should say what made it a success or a failure.
And part of that means talking about the emotional impact the performance had on us. I think that's important.
Yes, and we should definitely mention how well the director handled important bits of the play, like when Romeo climbs onto Juliet's balcony.
And the fight between Mercutio and Tybalt.
Yes. It would also be interesting to mention the theatre space and how the director used it, but I don't think we'll have space in 800 words.
No, OK. That all sounds quite straightforward.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 23 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 23 to 30.
So, what about the Emporium Theatre's production of the play?
I thought some things worked really well, but there were some problems too.
Yeah. What about the set, for example?
I think it was visually really stunning. I'd say that was probably the most memorable thing about this production.
You're right. The set design was really amazing. But actually, I have seen similar ideas used in other productions.
What about the lighting? Some of the scenes were so dimly lit, it was quite hard to see.
I didn't dislike it. It helped to change the mood of the quieter scenes.
That's a good point.
What did you think of the costumes?
I was a bit surprised by the contemporary dress, I must say.
Yeah, I think it worked well, but I'd assumed it would be more conventional.
Me too. I liked the music at the beginning, and I thought the musicians were brilliant, but I thought they were wasted because the music didn't have much impact in Acts 2 and 3.
Yes, that was a shame.
One problem with this production was that the actors didn't deliver the lines that well. They were speaking too fast.
It was a problem, I agree. But I thought it was because they weren't speaking loudly enough, especially at key points in the play.
I actually didn't have a problem with that.
It's been an interesting experience watching different versions of Romeo and Juliet, hasn't it?
Definitely. It's made me realise how relevant the play still is.
Right. I mean, a lot's changed since Shakespeare's time, but in many ways nothing's changed. There are always disagreements and tension between teenagers and their parents.
Yes, that's something all young people can relate to, more than the violence and the extreme emotions in the play.
How did you find watching it in translation?
Really interesting. I expected to find it more challenging, but I could follow the story pretty well.
I stopped worrying about not being able to understand all the words and focused on the actors' expressions. The ending was pretty powerful.
Yes, that somehow intensified the emotion for me.
Did you know Shakespeare's been translated into more languages than any other writer?
What's the reason for his international appeal, do you think?
I was reading that it's because his plays are about basic themes that people everywhere are familiar with.
Yeah, and they can also be understood on different levels. The characters have such depth.
Right, which allows directors to experiment and find new angles.
That's really important because...
That is the end of part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 3. Part 4. You will hear a lecturer on a languages course talking about the impact of digital technology on Icelandic, the native language of Iceland. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Right, everyone, let's make a start. Over the past few sessions, we've been considering the reasons why some world languages are in decline. And today I'm going to introduce another factor that affects languages, and the speakers of those languages, and that's technology, and in particular, digital technology. In order to illustrate its effect, I'm going to focus on the Icelandic language, which is spoken by around 321,000 people, most of whom live in Iceland, an island in the North Atlantic Ocean. The problem for this language is not the number of speakers, even though this number is small, nor is it about losing words to other languages, such as English. In fact, the vocabulary of Icelandic is continually increasing, because when speakers need a new word for something, they tend to create one, rather than borrowing from another language. All this makes Icelandic quite a special language. It's changed very little in the past millennium, yet it can handle 21st century concepts related to the use of computers and digital technology. Take, for example, the word for web browser. This is vafri in Icelandic, which comes from the verb to wander. I can't think of a more appropriate term because that's exactly what you do mentally when you browse the internet. Then there's an Icelandic word for podcast, which is too hard to pronounce, and so on. Icelandic, then, is alive and growing, and it's a big but, young Icelanders spend a great deal of time in the digital world, and this world is predominantly English. Think about smartphones. They didn't even exist until comparatively recently, but today young people use them all the time to read books, watch TV or films, play games, listen to music and so on. Obviously, this is a good thing in many respects because it promotes their bilingual skills. But the extent of the influence of English in the virtual world is staggering, and it's all happening really fast. For their parents and grandparents, the change is less concerning because they already have their native speaker skills in Icelandic. But for young speakers, well, the outcome is a little troubling. For example, teachers have found that playground conversations in Icelandic secondary schools can be conducted entirely in English, while teachers of much younger children have reported situations where their classes find it easier to say what is in a picture using English rather than Icelandic. The very real and worrying consequence of all this is that the young generation in Iceland is at risk of losing its mother tongue. Of course, this is happening to other European languages too. But while internet companies might be willing to offer, say, French options in their systems, it's much harder for them to justify the expense of doing the same for a language that has a population the size of a French town, such as Nice. The other drawback of Icelandic is the grammar, which is significantly more complex than in most languages. At the moment, the tech giants are simply not interested in tackling this. So, what is the Icelandic government doing about this? Well, large sums of money are being allocated to a language technology fund that it is hoped will lead to the development of Icelandic-sourced apps and other social media and digital systems.
but clearly this is going to be an uphill struggle. On the positive side, they know that Icelandic is still the official language of education and government. It has survived for well over 1,000 years, and the experts predict that its future in this nation-state is sound and will continue to be so. However, there's no doubt that it's becoming an inevitable second choice in young people's lives. This raises important questions. When you consider how much of the past is tied up in a language, will young Icelanders lose their sense of their own identity? Another issue that concerns the government of Iceland is this. If children are learning 2 languages through different routes, neither of which they are fully fluent in, will they be able to express themselves properly?
That is the end of part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to part 4.
This is very tough.
This was tough?
Yeah. The last part was tough, actually.
Okay, let's check the answers really quick. Here are the answers. Try to compare them with your answers.
Collection.
Collecting, not collection.
Okay, collecting, collect, records, west, transport, art, hospital, garden.
That is the end of the listening test. In the IELTS test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your...
Out of first 10, I got 9.
Okay.
And 11, B, C, P, correct. Okay, then 15. That's a problem. Wrong. P, C, G, C, G. Okay. C, G, A, E, F. Correct. 3 are correct. 14 plus 3, 17. Right? 9 plus 4, 13 plus 3, 16. Last one, the disaster. Okay, so 21 is
21 and 22 are D and E.
okay. I got 1 only. C is wrong.
Okay.
So and 23 is D C A E. D C A E. C
321 only. 1,000. So it's no. Tabular.
Oh, this is 3. Yeah, she said 321,000. I wrote 321. Okay. Yeah, she said 1,000. Right. Okay. Vocabulary. Vocabulary correct. 1. Forecast. Forecast is 33. Okay. 34 smartphones. 35 bilingual, which is wrong. Playground, attention wrong. 30. I missed 3. 35 to 37. I missed 38.
Okay.
I thought it's quest.
Lower. Yeah, I got 24.
All right. So, what's the total score here?
24. I got 24.
No, in everything.
Total 40 out of 40.
Yeah, out of 40.
I got 24.
24.
Yeah.
Okay. 24 as well. Okay. Suba, how much?
I got 22.
22.
Yeah.
So you're all in the same range.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was completely lost in the last section on
Section 4.
Yeah, completely lost. So I was, two answers which is correct. It's just I use my brain. That's it.
I confused with 321 because it says number 1,000. Okay.
321,000.
As you were right, because she said that 321,000, and still we made a mistake. We should have like little focus while she's speaking.
I saw that in part 1, this one, question 10, you answered and then you moved on before he gave the answer. What did you put? What was your answer there?
Which one?
Give me. Garden. Here. Oh, wait, not this one. Yeah, here. You wrote this one because they spelled it?
Yeah.
You wrote Montfort because they spelled it?
Yeah.
It was written here.
And that's why I was selecting. Right.
And honestly,
No, I lost track on that. I lost track. I didn't.
I know. Montfort was written.
Designing the Montfort.
Designing Montfort? How?
Even the tickets, there was a confusion between the tickets and doors. Like when she said checking at the doors, it's like, it's a door or a ticket, but it could be, like, it makes sense as tickets.
Okay.
Not doors.
All right.
But it's a good lesson.
So, do you see how the ice is going to be?
Yeah, it's not.
Pretty much like
You
this.
have to do the experience.
Don't answer before they give the answer.
Okay.
Okay? And remember, if the word is written in the question, it's not the answer. Remember, Montfort. Okay, well, that's it for today. Now you can just keep practicing in your book. I sent you the audios or not yet?
The book is not.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Send the
You mean
audio?
the listenings?
Yes.
Yeah, I've already done it. I've got the good numbers in that.
Okay.
Where did you send the audio?
In the WhatsApp group. That's okay. I'll send them again.
33 out of 40, 33. First attempt.
That's good.
So the one which you played today was, honestly I liked it, but it was tough because it was different for me.
Okay.
And I'm practicing on YouTube sometimes when I get time. On YouTube, that's quite easy. And as you said, they're copying from
YouTube is
here and
not.
there,
YouTube is the YouTube videos would be very easy. Yeah.
Okay. And honestly, this is either I have earphones in my head, maybe I'm more focused in that or something.
Could be.
So I'm taking each and every word and I'm writing it.
It could be.
Here it is like, and I wanted to experience this. That's why, because I think the test will be exactly like this.
Yeah, but it depends. It really depends. It depends on. Yeah, they provide headphones. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. But it really depends because some topics are going to be harder for you, others are going to be easier for you.
And you feel pressure when you're sitting in the classroom.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in your own space, you feel quite comfortable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's part of it too, yeah.
I don't have a speaking problem. The biggest problem is picking up words from the mouth. That's the biggest problem for me because it's been very long. I've not. Yeah, I think the education is 15 years ended, so it's a big gap. For
Yeah. I know it happens.
Yeah.
For now, it's about practice. The more you practice, the better.
Okay.
You wanted how much?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Once you start hitting 35 in the practice, 35 questions, once you start hitting that consistently, you're good.
Okay.
Okay. So